What's going on, you guys? It's your girl Alicia No Keys. I know it's been a long time, but I am back. I'm here to stay. In the interest of time, let's get straight into it with products I'm using. First things first, Honeycomb Shampoo Bar. I'm also using the Goat Milk Conditioning Bar. All these products will be linked in the description. I'm also using the Nefertiti's Magic Oil, very slept on product. Also, I'm going to be using All Reliable, which is my washing style brush. As you can see, it's been through some bangs. So you're going to want to use a brush that you don't mind ruining, so to speak, because obviously wood and water do not mix. So, I mean, look at this brush I ruined. This is the TP91. As you can see, water just ruined this brush completely, and you don't want to do that. You also will need a comb, obviously, to comb out your hair. I'm also using an edge brush so that I can work on crown isolation. I'm also using a Detangler brush, not absolutely necessary, but I think it's pretty useful, and a super thin do-rag. If you can't see your hand through the do-rag, it is too thick for this purpose. A compression cap also is super useful. Not absolutely necessary, but it serves two important purposes. So let's see. All right, listen, let's get into this thing, okay? So I haven't been as consistent with my brushing or whatever. As you can see, it definitely shows, but we already know what to do, so we're gonna get it right back. So let's start by just combing the hair out. I'm using the carbon comb. A carbon comb is super valuable in my opinion. It's virtually unbreakable, and it prevents static and frizz that you would get with a regular plastic comb. So just go with the pattern of your natural angles, and then you can go ahead and rinse your hair. I am going to be doing a scramble wash, so you can see I'm just throwing the soap on there, getting that lather up. Make sure I'm not missing any areas, and then I'm just gonna scrub it in, making sure you get everything and you're loosening up all that dirt and oil or whatever else is in your hair. Once you're done with that, you can use a Detangler brush to really loosen up those curls and, you know, get them defined before you're ready to rinse again. So I do this for about 5 minutes or so. If your hair is super dirty, oh, look at that lather. Ooh. If your hair is super dirty, you might want to do this twice, rinse and shampoo twice, and then move on to your conditioner if you're using one. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse. For this video, I only did one shampoo, and then I rinsed it out. So next I'm going in with the second bar, which is the conditioning bar, and I'm gonna go against the natural pattern of my hair instead of doing a scramble. So we're just gonna get that up in there, make sure we have enough product in. We're gonna get the crown as well and get ready to brush. But before that, we're gonna throw a little oil up in there, and we're gonna work on crown isolation. So a couple drops on the crown will do, and then as you can see, you can't really see anything going on with the crown because it's too much lather. So I am pushing some of it out of the way. And then you can see that there's a little bit of hairs that are misplaced. So we're gonna use a comb to really place those hairs where they belong. This is super important, especially if you are a 360 beehive waver like me. So you're gonna wanna hit those angles and really detangle that hair. And this will really help you with crown isolation and getting that depth within your hair and that flow in that crown. Your crown is super important as a waver, especially as a beehive waver, so don't be afraid to get that comb and get up in them hairs. Once you're done with the crown isolation, you can go ahead and get your brush and just finish off where you left off with the crown isolation. So just brush your natural pattern in the angles that are necessary. This takes me anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes I go longer than this because your hair moves the best when it is wet. So you really want to make the best out of your washing styles. If you feel like your hair is getting a little dry, don't be afraid to put a little water. Sometimes I use my hand. You can use a spray bottle. You can wet the brush. You know, whatever really floats your boat. When you're done brushing, you can just add a little oil. I mean, you know me, I'm gonna OD on the product, so I'm using a lot of this Nefertiti Magic Oil. And I'm just gonna rub it in, you know, nothing crazy, making sure you're getting your whole head. And then you can use a brush just to make sure that make sure that the oil has penetrated the hair and it's getting down to your scalp, and you should be all good. So the last thing I do before I put my do-rag on is I just get a little bit more lather and place it on my hair. And then after that, you can go ahead and wet your do-rag and rinse it out. And you can put the do-rag on your head, but obviously make sure that the seam is on the outside, just like that. So I tie my do-rag a little differently for my washing styles than I do, you know, any other time. I'm not going to wrap the straps around my head because I want the water to go through the do-rag and rinse out the soap super easy. So we don't really need to wrap it around and get that compression. So I'm just gonna pull the cape down a bit, and I'm going to just go ahead and do one. I'm gonna do like a little bow. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to just pull the cape down. And now we are ready to wash. So let's get it. So I recommend that you start out with lukewarm or cold water first. If you can do cold, great. If not, definitely do lukewarm. And just bring it across your do-rag like that. You'll notice that I'm pushing my do-rag or patting it down so that the hair fully penetrates the do-rag and gets down to my scalp and gets all of this shampoo out. I do this for a couple of minutes. Even when you feel like you're done, just keep going because you definitely don't want to leave any shampoo in your hair. That's a big no-no. So really take your time and get all of it out. And then when you're almost done, go ahead and switch to cold water, because if you're using warm or hot water, it increases the chances of you getting frizzy hair when you unrag, and we definitely don't want that. So the cold water is going to seal in that moisture and close up those hair strands and make sure we have a nice, beautiful lay. So as you can see, we are all done so far, and the shampoo is out of the hair and it's nice and clean. So I'm just gonna wring out the water in my do-rag. You should hold the front of your do-rag before you wring it out too much, because you don't want to disturb your hairs and let your do-rag move out of place. So as you mean, the do-rags are pretty absorbent, so you want to wring it out as much as you can. So I'm just going to put my compression cap on now. I'm going to basically hide my first do-rag in the compression cap because, as I was saying, the do-rag is pretty absorbent and the water will drip from your do-rag. So in order to prevent that, I'm just going to wrap my do-rag up into the compression cap. All right, so we're gonna let it dry. So we're back. My hair is dry. That probably took about 3 to 4 hours to dry. Most of the times I just try to wait longer than that just in case. So we're gonna unrag and see how it looks. All right, as you can see, there's a little bit of over curl in the crown area, but that's okay. It's gonna be an easy fix. I might have just put a little bit too much oil in that area, but like I said, easy fix. So what we're gonna do now is just throw some products in there. I'm using the Vanilla Nutmeg Moisturizer, which is just awesome. I put miles in that thing. It smells amazing. And we're gonna put a little bit on there and distribute it evenly in the hair. Once your moisturizer is distributed evenly, you can go ahead and throw some oil in there. I'm not gonna just use a little bit because that's who I am as a person. I use way too much product. It is what it is. So I'm just gonna rub that in there all nice. Then I'm going to use a soft brush to get those products in there. This is the TP95, absolutely beautiful brush. And I'm just, look at how soft these bristles are. I mean, honestly. So yeah, you want to use a soft brush and get up in there. And I'm going to brush my hair the way I would normally. I'm just making sure I'm spending extra time near the crown because that's where a lot of my overcurl was. So, you know, just make sure you're brushing how you normally would. And then when you're done with that, you can get the plastic bag. Hear me out. Hear me out. If you are a coarse hair waver like me, this is a gem. This will help you lay your hair down a lot better and a lot easier. And you'll notice that when you take that rag off, you are going to see beautiful, laid, and shiny hair. Alrighty, now we're done and we can go ahead and put a regular do-rag on. This is my Balenciaga rag that I got from RAGDEALER, and it's a little bit thicker than the rag I use to wash my hair. And I'm just going to throw this sucker on. So this is the normal way that I put on my do-rag. Okay, we're just gonna pull the cape down and then let that set, and then when we unrag, it should be a masterpiece, darling. We shall see. So let's get up close and personal to see what we got going on after the wash. Yeah, so these are my results. Overcurl has been tamed, we got some shine, the hair looks healthy, and that is a washing style. You guys, if you have any questions or if you want to see other kinds of content like this, let me know. If you have any questions or whatever, leave it in the comments, or you can hit me up on Instagram, hit my DM, and I'll be back.